quick thank you to our sponsors for making this podcast possible. They keep this show free to listen to. Hey there, Peace and Parenting family. If you love the podcast but wish to enjoy it without interruptions, your wish has come true. Introducing the ad-free version of the Peace and Parenting podcast, available exclusively on Apple Podcast. As a subscriber, you'll get all the heartfelt advice, parenting stories, and actionable tips you love without any ads. For less than the cost of a coffee each month, you will enjoy uninterrupted listening while also supporting our work to help you build stronger connections with your kids. Try it out for free. Simply find Peace and Parenting on Apple Podcasts, click Try Free, and you'll gain immediate access to our ad-free episodes. There's no commitment and you can cancel anytime. So if you're ready for a more peaceful, uninterrupted listening experience, subscribe now. Let's keep focusing on connection without the distractions. Thanks for joining me on the Peace and Parenting podcast. I'm so glad you're here.
Here's what I want you to know before we begin today. If you showed up today to learn how to parent differently than you were parented, let me just say you are already doing something that the people who raised you didn't do. You're stopping to look at this parenting journey on purpose, and that matters. That makes a huge difference for your kids. Hold on to that thought and remember this as we go along today, okay? So let me say something out loud, the thing that probably, I'm guessing, brought many of you here today. This is what brought me to Peace and Parenting. You swore you'd never parent like your parents did. And then you found yourself doing the exact same thing. Yeah. You'd said you'd never yell, and you yelled. You said you'd never use that tone, and you used that tone. You said your kid would never feel the way you felt while you were growing up. And then they looked just like you did at their age. If that's landing for you, you're in the right place. Long story short, we were in the middle of a major remodel project at our house. My son was 17, and he was helping me turn the plumbing on. I'd run some new copper lines, soldered several joints together in both the bathroom and the kitchen. And I tell you what, I was so nervous. Soldering copper joints has always made me nervous that I'm not doing it right. And I was scared, of course, and I was afraid there would be a leak somewhere. So I showed my son the main valve for the house, how to turn it on, how to turn it off, and explained I was going to listen around the house for leaks, and I would holler if I needed him to turn it off. Foolproof plan, right? Ready? Okay, my heart's racing. Get set. I have to do this. Let's knock on wood and cross my fingers. Go. So I'm listening at all the places for a leak. And mind you, the kitchen and the bathroom at opposite ends of the house, and I'm all nerves. So my son runs to me and says, "Dad, there's a leak at the valve." And of course, my response, "What? You've got to turn it off. I showed you how to turn it off." And we run to the valve. Guess what? He'd already turned it off. If I could explain to you how small I felt, so ashamed, it still makes me feel that today. I wanted to cry. I'd done it again. I didn't know what to say. Should I say something? How do I apologize? Then I started justifying it. I hadn't really yelled at him, had I? Maybe in the rush of things, he hadn't really noticed. What should I do? I'm telling you this story not because it's a clean story. It's not a clean story. I'm still figuring this out. And my kids are grown, and I'm still catching all of the pieces of the pattern moving through me. I'm telling you because the moment I realized whose voice was coming out of my mouth was the moment I stopped trying to white knuckle my way out of it and started doing something different. Here's what I want you to grasp today. Becoming a cycle breaker is not the absence of the pattern. It's the moment you recognize the pattern faster than it can recognize you. Michelle has a line that I love to quote when she says in her book, Unpunished, "When we don't know what to do, we do what we know." Let me repeat that one more time. When we don't know what to do, we tend to default and do what we know. That one sentence explains almost everything about why this is so hard. Your nervous system is not a blank page. By the time you become a parent, you had already been parented for 18, 20, and maybe longer, 30 years. Your body learned what a parent sounds like, what a parent does when a kid won't listen, what a parent does when they're tired and overwhelmed and embarrassed, maybe in public, what a parent does at bedtime when the patience is gone. You learned all of that before you could even put a sentence together, before you had the language to question, before you knew there was anything to question. So when you became a parent, when your kid screams in the grocery store, when they slam the door, when they say something disrespectful at the dinner table, or when they do something you don't agree with, your body reaches for the most available script. And the most available script is the one that was written into you when you were 5. This is why awareness alone is not enough. You know this. A lot of you here have done years of therapy. You've untangled that story. You've grieved your childhood. And you can articulate exactly what your parents did wrong, why they did it, and what you would have needed instead. Then it's 6:15 on a Wednesday afternoon. Your kid won't put his shoes on for the 4th time, and your mouth opens, and out comes that sentence you didn't choose. This is why it's harder than anyone tells us when we become parents. That pattern is instinctive. It runs faster than our prefrontal cortex can respond. The pattern is encoded deeply. It lives in our body, not just our beliefs. And that pattern is loyal. It shows up to protect us the way it protected the people who raised us, even when we don't want it to. None of that is a character problem. It's a nervous problem. It's a nervous system that learned to do what to do under pressure before you had any say in the matter, which means, and I want you to hear this, the work of breaking the cycle is not about being a better person. It's about giving your nervous system a new script, one it has never run before. So I'll do this quickly. I want to share 3 books. So these 3 authors, Daniel Siegel, his book, Developing the Mind, calls this implicit memory. The body stores the relational pattern long before the mind can describe it. When you get triggered by your child, you are not overreacting, you are reliving. The second book, author Lindsay Gibson, a great book here, Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents, names what most of you in this room have already named for yourself. When emotional needs aren't met in childhood, the child becomes the manager of the parent. And that managing instinct doesn't disappear when you grow up. It just changes shape. And thirdly, the book, When the Body Says No, written by Gabor Mate, has been pointing at this for 30 years. The cost of suppressing what we felt as children shows up in the body, in the marriage, and in the way we parent the children that we love the most. So I think here, this is the line that pulls all 3 of these thoughts together. Your child is not the problem. Your child is just the trigger. The thing that your child does is activating something much older than they are. Remember this, hang on to this. You are not reacting to your child. You are reacting to the version of yourself that your child reminds you of. That one reframe alone, that one sentence, is the difference between a parent who keeps spinning out and a parent who starts to see what's actually happening in the room. So before we move on here in today's, I want to leave you today with 5 things that kind of show up in our parenting. And then we'll look at how to reframe these things. These are 5 ways that we've inherited, 5 patterns that we've inherited that show up in real life. This isn't theory. These 5 places, if you watch yourself this week, I think you'll catch yourself when it's happening. Some of these will land hard. When it lands hard on me, it's tough. It's okay, though. This is part of the work. We're not here to feel good. We're here to see this clearly. So number 1, the reactive snap. Something switches on faster than we can even stop it. Your kid does that thing, right? The eye roll, the back talk, the meltdown. And before your prefrontal cortex even shows up to the meeting, you've already said the sentence. I know I've done this many times. I did this with my son, right? At the plumbing valve. That reaction is older than the moment. Number 2, the cold withdrawal. You don't yell, you just go quiet. You give them the back of your shoulder. You make them feel the temperature drop in the room. If you grew up with a parent who punished you with distance, this is the pattern your body learned. Silence is not regulation. Silence is a punishment in another costume. The third one, restaging. Your child does something small, age appropriate, normal, and your body reacts like you are still the child in your own kitchen at age 7. The fight you're having is not with the kid in front of you. It's with someone who is not in the room anymore. And your child has no idea why their thing got such a big reaction. And then there's the performance demand. You need them to behave. You're in public, right? Or at the dinner table in front of your family. Because their behavior is going to prove something about you. That you're not the parent your parents were. that you broke the cycle, that you're doing it right. And your child can feel that pressure. They don't have the language for it, but they can feel it, and it costs them. And then number 5, the inheritance phrase. There's a sentence in your house that came directly out of your own childhood. Maybe it was because I said so, or you should know better, or I'm so disappointed in you. Don't make me say it again. Or maybe it's after everything I did for you. You didn't choose those sentences, they were given to you. And every time you say one, you can feel somewhere that that didn't originate with you. If 3 or 4 of those just landed harder than you wanted them to, that's not failure. That's just data. That's you finally seeing the pattern with the lights on. If any of that landed in the way that you don't want to sit with alone, that's exactly what our one-on-one coaching is for. So here's 3 practices that we can use to interrupt the pattern. And as you're reading these, I want you to think of just one that you can do this week. We don't need to do everything all at once, just one. We know that awareness alone is not enough. We can't read our way out of it. So the question remains, what actually works? These 3 practices are what we practice here at Peace in Parenting. They're what I have used in my own life and at our own house, and what I use with families that I coach. They aren't complicated. They are hard, but hard in the way that most important things are hard, in that you have to do them when you don't feel like it. The first one is the why question. When that hard struggle moment hits, when you feel the heat coming up in your chest, pause and ask yourself one word. Why? Why am I this angry? Why am I feeling this way? What is it? And where is it actually coming from? Michelle writes, almost every time it comes back to something that has nothing to do with the child in front of you. You're not reacting to what your kid just did. You are reacting to something much older. The second question is, whose voice? Right after the reaction, even if you didn't catch it in time, ask yourself, whose voice was that? Who did that sentence belong to before it belonged to me? You are not doing this to assign blame. You're doing it to put a name on the pattern. Because once a pattern has a name, your nervous system can start to recognize it before it runs the next time. And then the child you question, or the little you. I think this is the hardest one. Think about what you needed in a moment, just like the one that you just had. When you were that age that your child is now, what would have helped you when you were that age? What did you not get at that time? And then the next time that moment shows up, try to give your child the thing that you didn't get. I'm not talking about perfection here. And we're not trying to get you to do this every time. We're trying to grow 1 degree closer and closer than what you received. So here's the whole practice in one line. Reparenting yourself is not a side project. I believe it is the parenting work. This is the part of the work that nobody told you were signing up for when you became a parent. You thought you were raising a kid. It turns out you're also reparenting the part of yourself that didn't get what it needed. We have to do both jobs at the same time with no training. That's why this is so exhausting, and why doing it with support changes everything. Number 1, catch just one moment this week. You only need to catch one. Not all of them, just one. The next time you feel the old pattern rising, that heat in your chest, that sentence forming, that urge to snap or go cold, pause for just 3 seconds. That's it, 3 seconds. Don't try to be perfect, just notice. Number 2, name the pattern. Name it out loud to yourself. Whether you're in the car or at home, the dinner table, or in the grocery store, after that moment is over, name it. That was the snap, or that was the cold withdrawal. That was the inheritance phrase. Name it the way you'd name a weather pattern. No shame, just naming. Naming it is the first thing that loosens the pattern's grip on your body. Number 3, ask one of the 3 questions. Pick whichever one feels least impossible. Just ask one of those questions. You're not solving anything. We're just collecting information at this time. Number 4 is important. Repair with your child. If that moment got away and got messy, and it will, repair. Hey, man, earlier when I said that wasn't really about you, and I'm sorry. It's something I'm working on, and you don't have to fix it for me. Your child doesn't need a perfect parent. They just need a parent who comes back. And then write it down. Number 5. You can write it one sentence in your phone or in a journal. Write down what that trigger was, what you noticed, and what you would do differently next time. This week, you can just build a record of yourself. And that record is what changes the pattern over months. Not the perfection of any single moment. Here at Peace and Parenting, we're all working toward connection, not perfection. What cycle breaking actually can look like. And I want to give you some encouragement now. This has been heavy. I know it was heavy for me as I prepared this today, and I want to give some encouragement. I want to tell you about a mom that I worked with. I'll call her Rachel. She had 2 kids. She still has 2 kids, a son and a daughter, and she's a single mom. Rachel came to her first coaching call and said, "Tim, I'm exactly that mother that I promised I would never be. My mother used to snap at me. And last week when my son was really antagonizing his sister, I responded the same way my mother did. I snapped. I didn't mean to, but I'll be honest, it just happened." She'd done therapy. She knew exactly what her mother had done to her, and it was still happening with her own son. So we did the work together. It was slow, imperfect, some messy, rough bumps. It's not the way that parenting books make it look, but we started with one practice, just the why question, 3 seconds of a pause when she felt that cold coming. Not all the time, just once or twice a week. And in 3 months, after succeeding and failing, she sent me this message. She said, "My son said something to his sister, and I recognized those triggers coming up inside. And I didn't snap. I took a breather and was able to listen to both the kids." And she continues, "The best part is my relationship with my daughter is getting better, and my son has slowed down his antagonism toward his sister." So that's what breaking the cycle actually looks like. It's not a transformation. It's not a finish line. One moment where your kid kept talking, or maybe they threw a fit or got into an argument with their sibling, you were able to stop and listen, or you worked through it. And you just had a calm moment. And then another, and another. And then we have another child who grows up assuming that the people who love them stay with them through all of their humanity. What you're doing is not just breaking the cycle for your child, you're also breaking it for their children. So I want to be clear about something before we close, because I appreciate your presence and your patience and your attention. And we've earned this directness. Peace and Parenting here offers one-on-one coaching. That's the work that we do every week. Whether you work with Michelle or with me or with the rest of our coaching team, this isn't a course. It's not a group program. It's a one-on-one coach working with one parent or 2 co-parents for an extended period of time. And we're working on the actual shape of what is hard in your house. I can give you a unique perspective because I was on your side of this room only a few years ago. I was a parent who wanted to work on my relationship with my children. I was scared of how things would look in 10 years if I didn't change things. And it still makes me emotional thinking of that. I also attended calls like these until one day I decided to take the leap and go further. Peace and Parenting changed my life and viewpoint. It changed everything. I will say at that time, my relationships looked bleak. I did not think that today I'd have the opportunities that I do with my kids. I never thought that my kids would ask to hang out with me or tell me about their problems, their life, or their concerns, or just say, "Hey, you want to watch the game or play pool with me?" I believed that reaching that level of trust with them was never going to happen for me. And now I'm feeling it. And it's still growing. It's still a journey.
Thank you for joining me on the Peace and Parenting podcast. I'll see you next time. Hey there, Peace and Parenting family. If you love the podcast but wish to enjoy it without interruptions, your wish has come true. Introducing the ad-free version of the Peace and Parenting podcast, available exclusively on Apple Podcast. As a subscriber, you'll get all the heartfelt advice, parenting stories, and actionable tips you love without any ads. For less than the cost of a coffee each month, you will enjoy uninterrupted listening while also supporting our work to help you build stronger connections with your kids. Try it out for free. Simply find Peace in Parenting on Apple Podcasts, click Try Free, and you'll gain immediate access to our ad-free episodes. There's no commitment and you can cancel anytime. So if you're ready for a more peaceful, uninterrupted listening experience, subscribe now. Let's keep focusing on connection without the distractions.